Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 13th of December 2018. So, yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, as always. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one actually I want to touch on is the FTSE MIB here, now the Italian index. So I was talking about this one on Tuesday, and basically this is what I was looking at, and I was telling you guys to keep an eye on this little this area here around the 18,420 400 level. So we were trading around here, and I was talking about this potential range here that we've got on this index, and you can see that it managed to bounce off nicely back to the upside here, managed to push back above the 18,580 zone, and since then kind of continued to travel higher. Also, the index managed to break this key area of resistance around the 18,970 level, and it seems that it wants to continue pushing further up here. So of course, we could maybe see a bit of a correction here back to the downside, maybe even actually testing this level again, the 18,970 level, given actually the fact that we're not far from it. So currently, looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see that it found its resistance near the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line. So in a way, like I said, we could see maybe a bit of a correction here, but keep your eyes on this 18,970 level, because if it fails to drop below this, or let's say close below this, then yep, we could see further acceleration here to the upside towards the upper bound of the range that we've got here on this index. Now the upper side of it is around the 19,630 level, so keep your eyes on that one. Certainly it's building up to be quite an interesting one, especially going into tomorrow. We'll see if it actually manages to kind of go a little bit higher, or maybe even actually touch the upper side of it, maybe you'll touch the upper side of it. So for now, basically, long story short, guys, for now, keep your eyes on the 18,970 level. If it continues to hold, this could be a nice area for the bulls to step in again and push this index back up again. But if we get a break here below this level, the 18,970 level, we'll get a close below this, then, well, certainly there is a possibility that we could see maybe a slide further down. But from the very short-term perspective, in a way, you could keep an eye on this little area of potential support near the 18,850. Now, this could be that better confirmation of a possible slide lower. So if we get a nice drop here below the 18,850 level, now this is where you could then target the 18,580, or even actually the lower side of the range again. So quite an interesting index right now, quite an interesting trading activity here, especially for those who love trading ranges. So yep, you could in a way squeeze something out of it still. So we do have the upper bound here of this little range that the index is sitting at right now. Jumping into one commodity, or should I say precious metal, and that is gold. Now looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see we were trading here well, we initially were trading above this short-term upside support line. In a way, it was a bit of a tentative one, so we can get rid of it right now, and because we can see that the precious metal is kind of dragging right now, and it's trading within this little range here, or in a way, in other words, actually, if we draw a nice downside resistance line here, we can see an descending triangle formation here. So we do have our support here, which is the lower side of that triangle. So that's approximately around the 1241 level. Now this is what I was talking about when I was covering this commodity during this week. Basically, for us to kind of start considering lower levels, we need to see this good break here below the 1241, and only then we're going to aim for much lower levels. Lower levels initially like 1233, which was marked here by the low of the 5th of December. But if that doesn't hold, a slightly better level we've got here is the 1230 area, approximately there. So that was marked here by the low of the 3rd of December, and also by the high of the 21st of November. So quite an important level becomes this one, the 1230. But in order for us to see that, we need to get a nice good drop here below the 1241. For those who are more on the cautious side, in a way you could, and likes of course round numbers, you could in a way wait for drop below the 1240 level. So, and then you could probably look at the possibility of gold traveling further down. Let's say if this continues to push higher, let's say if in the same direction as this current 4-hour candle, of course it's not finished yet, but if it continues to push higher and it breaks the this upper side of the descending triangle here, now certainly this could open the path towards slightly higher levels. We could see a retest of the 1250 level, 51 approximately there, but to be honest, if that doesn't hold, I mean, this could turn out to be a very nice good feast for the bulls, as a break above the 1251 could open the path towards the 1266 level. And the 1266, going back here into history, we can see it was acted as a very nice area of resistance back here in July time this year. So yep, keep your eyes on that one. But again, like I said, for the upside, we need to see that break here of this little short-term downside resistance line, which also is the upper side of the descending triangle here. Jumping into euro dollar here, so the euro dollar is, well, initially had a sell-off here, but now it's pushing back up. So as you probably understand, that Mario Draghi has been talking right now, so he's delivering a press conference. So we can see that the euro has reversed back to the upside, currently sitting around the pivot. So this is where it will be very interesting to see where the day is going to end. Overall, looking at the daily chart on this one, we did have a nice bounce away from this short-term upside support line that was running from the low of the 13th of November. So in a way, it's kind of stuck here right now. So it's for us to, in order to, let's say, for us to go to start examining much lower levels, well, we would need to see a nice good drop here below the this short-term upside support line, and also a nice good break below the 113 level. So in a way, the 113 kind of became somewhat like a psychological level for this pair right now. So yep, keep on monitoring that one. But again, like I said, I'll repeat myself, in order to kind of first start examining lower levels, we need to see that good break here below the 113 level, and then we'll aim for levels like the 1.1270, or even actually the 1.1225 or the 15. So the 1.1215 was the lowest point here that we saw in November time. So of course that was in regards to the downside, but basically, as long as we remain above this short-term upside support line, certainly we're gonna we'll stick to somewhat a bullish idea. But if we get a nice break here above the 113.95, or even the let's put it the 114 level, if we get a nice push above the 114, certainly we'll keep a close eye on the 114.35. But again, the bigger target for us would be the 115 level itself. So that one is definitely a psychological one. So the 115 level, keep your eyes on that one. But again, only if we get a nice good pop here above the 114 initially, and then a nice good move above the 114.35 or 40 level, approximately there. So yep. It's at the moment we're just going to stay put here, keep on monitoring it, see how it develops, but again, we are slightly more to the bullish side than the bearish for now, of course. EURGBP, that's another one, a good one. So you can see that looking at this 4-hour chart, you can see that it continues to trade above this short-term upside support line. So as long as that remains intact, of course, we're also going to aim for higher levels. But in order for us to kind of get comfortable with higher levels here again, so, or let's say seeing this one traveling back up here, we would need to see a nice good push here above this. Let me just kind of quickly mark that on the chart. We need to see a nice good push above the 0.9015 level, approximately there. So you can see that was it was a nice high here that it was reached today, and certainly, like I said, for us to kind of consider these much higher levels, then we need to see a nice good pop above the 0.9015 area, approximately there, and only then we'll aim for the next potential area of resistance around the 0.9070, or even actually going all the way here towards the 0.91 area. And the 0.91 area, just to kind of point it out, it was the highest point of this year, so quite an interesting and good potential area of resistance. But in order to get there, the pair first needs to break some key resistance levels, and the first one is being the 0.9015. so keep your eyes on down. And on the downside, well, it could in a way continue monitoring this upside support line. Certainly I do have this level here around the 0.8940 now. Again, probably this would need to be slightly adjusted, because in order to kind of aim for lower levels, probably for us to a drop below the 0.8950 would be enough confirmation here, and then we could potentially aim for another push here, another retest of the 0.8885. It was last time tested around the 6th of December. So yep, that could be a nice good area of support. Certainly around there we do have the 200 EMA here shown as the black line, so there are some good potential areas underneath here. But again, for those we need to see a drop below this upside support line, and also yep, a drop below the 0.8950 level. So yep, for now guys, keep your eyes on it. Certainly for now we're gonna just stay put, keep monitoring it, and wait for that possible break here, and either through the upper side here 0.9015 or the downside 0.8950. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on before I run out of time, and that's GBPJPY. So this one, let me just jump into it daily here. So looking at this one, certainly having a nice push here today, but kind of getting held here by this 143.70 level today. So this is the breaking point that I've got here on my chart. In a way, if this is going to get a nice close above this, then yeah, we could see a further push higher here. Now let me just adjust this line here probably a little bit, and well, actually it's fine like this. But basically, long story short guys, a nice good close on the daily candle here above the 143.70 could potentially lead towards slightly higher levels, and even we could see maybe a retest of this upside support line, but this time from underneath. And yep, this could could play out nicely. In order to kind of, let's say, turn bullish on this one long term, we would need to see this one traveling back above this short-term upside support line and also closing above the 146 level, and only then we'll consider further acceleration to the upside in the long run. And this is where we could then aim potentially for the 149.70 or even the psychological 150 level again. But again, this is a bit of a long shot, something for you guys to keep in mind. For now, because we're still trading below this, well, not only below this upside support line, but also below this key area of resistance here near the 143.70. So yep, be very careful with that one. We might maybe see a bit of a correction here back to the downside, but for us to, let's say, aim for lower levels again, we would need to see a good break here below the this area here. Let me just jump into a 4-hour chart quickly. We need to see a nice good drop below the 142.93-95 approximately there, and only then we'll consider a further drop, a further decline here lower. So yep, for now, be very cautious, be very careful. And currently you can see that we're stuck here near the 143.70, but let's see how that performs, and let's see how that plays out later on today, and how this daily candle is gonna finish. So yep, I hope you guys found it useful, and I do appreciate your time. So if you want to join me tomorrow morning in my traders espresso, and that's 7 o'clock GMT time. So yep, but for now I'll have to say goodbye to you, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. For those who are still trading, I hope the trading goes good today for you, but for those who are finished for today, have a wonderful evening. Bye bye, guys.